What's good, everyone? It is Tony the Savant back again. And before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, just like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell on this video so you can be notified when I'm dropping content and going live. A little bit of help goes a long way. Can't say thank you enough. Let's get right into this work. All right, because Gilbert Arenas, ladies and gentlemen, has said something stupid. I know, shocker. Um, Gilbert Arenas, man, if you don't know, is a professional clickbait artist. Okay, he's already been exposed for buying views, buying subscribers, um, all of that stuff, man. The get rich quick stuff. You know what I mean? Gilbert Arenas has done that. All of the shortcuts it takes to build a YouTube channel, Gilbert Arenas has done that. And now he is making a living off saying the most outlandish stuff, whether he believes it or not. All right. I should have pulled up some clips, but Gilbert Arenas, man, I haven't watched his show in about a year or so. And so I used to be able to get a lot of clips from his channel or his shows because I actually watched it, but I can't suffer through an episode of that stuff, man. Again, once who was it? Carcino for Life. All right, Carcino for Life and Gilbert Arenas. If y'all can go look up that episode of those two having a conversation, um, Carcino thoroughly exposes Gilbert Arenas for buying views, buying subscribers, and just having inorganic traffic. The only way that, or the only times that Gilbert Arenas has a lot of traffic is when he does things like he's done right now, says something outlandish, and then people go see what he's talking about. But if you don't know, Gilbert Arenas claims that Steph Curry is not a generational player. All right, and his reasons for saying that is because in Gilbert Arenas' definition of a generational player, quote unquote, their game can't be mimicked. That's his definition. A person who's a generational player is a talented player, of course, whose game cannot be mimicked. And this is what I'm saying, man. Gilbert Arenas just saying something else stupid, and respectfully, I try to be as diplomatic as I can with these guys. But this is low IQ behavior. I can only tolerate it for so long when you got a guy who has never won anything. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean to come at Gilbert Arenas' resume right now or his playing career as he's long been retired. Um, but come on, man, you never won anything. You don't know what a generational player looks like, and I think this is a disadvantage because Gilbert Arenas is also one of those guys who says that, oh, since I played in the NBA, he's the number one source for NBA news, because he's an ex-player and all that kind of stuff. And to that I say, yeah, we have to concede some. Um, what can I say? We got to concede a little bit of room for Gilbert Arenas to get his bars off because he has been there, he has been behind the scenes, he knows how these things work. But there's only so much ground I concede. It's only so much ground I can concede to someone who is clearly, riding off a wave of stupid. Um, for Gilbert Arenas to say that Steph Curry isn't a generational player, it really brings to mind, again, his resume. And what did you do, Gil? You know what I mean? I think the only people that should be speaking on quote unquote generational players are other quote unquote generational players. Um, this dude has won nothing. He's put up a lot of points. He had some back and forths with some of the more, elite scorers in his era. But that's it. We don't have any pictures of uh, Gilbert Arenas hoisting a championship trophy, an MVP trophy, an All-Star Game MVP trophy. Nothing. And this is where I'm confused because when Michael Jordan talks about Steph Curry, he don't sound like Gilbert Arenas. You know what I mean? When um, Isaiah Thomas, the great, talks about Steph Curry, he don't talk like Gilbert Arenas. And I'm saying that to say these are NBA greats. These are guys that have won championships, been to the top of the mountain, accomplished all you can accomplish in their profession, and none of them talk like Gilbert Arenas. And this is why I separate Gilbert Arenas from, or his channel anyway, from real basketball information. Because at the end of the day, I got to go with the greats. I got to go off the people that have been there, done that, knows what it takes, and then offer their opinions. And again, when you hear the guys that have been to the top of the mountain, um, they don't talk about Steph the way Gil talks about him. Now, I will say this: Steph Curry is somewhat of a lightning rod figure for some people. I don't understand why people like to discredit Steph. I'm on record. Everybody knows I've said this thousands of times. Steph is my personal GOAT. I know Michael Jordan is the GOAT. There's other people with better resumes. But as far as somebody that I watched come up from day one, I've been watching Steph since he was at Davidson. So since his first day in the NBA, I've been watching him, and I've been privy to watch him go from just this 3-point shooter, not really projected or expected to do much, to a franchise player, to a championship player, to a unanimous MVP, to a legend. So now that I think that and to his credit, I will say this. I skipped over this. Gilbert Arenas also said that Kobe Bryant wasn't a generational player, clown, but he also said that Steph Curry got to where he got to off hard work, and I give him some credit in that regard. He wasn't just trying to discredit Curry just to discredit him. But to that I say, Gil, you can work yourself to being a generational player, sir. It's not necessarily everybody that comes into the NBA that is a quote unquote generational player. Most of these guys work their ways up to that. Michael Jordan, when he first came into the NBA, wasn't touted as a generational player. Um, uh, Trying to think of another guy. Many guys are coming to the NBA. Kobe Bryant wasn't touted as a generational player. Um, but I don't think anybody in their right minds would say these guys weren't generational players. I mean, they were phenomenal talents, but they worked their ways into being a generational player. And I would say the same thing for Steph Curry. He's worked his way into that role. Um, Not that he started off in that role, but there's no way in the world you can take anything away from Steph Curry. Probably the most impactful player in the last 10, 15 years, 20 years. Um, it literally took the Golden State Warriors franchise from being a laughing stock to being the most respectable and profitable franchise in the NBA. I say respectable because we see in the NBA everybody taking 30, 40, 50 threes now. That formula only worked for the Golden State Warriors because they had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, who combined, if they took 23s, if they took 43s, combined, those fools was hitting 15 to 20 of them. Um, and so, when I say respected, it's just because everybody in the league has taken their blueprint. I think something that Gilbert Arenas probably doesn't agree with me on, but for you to be a generational player, man, your game has to be um, desired to be mimicked. It's got to be people that's looking at you and with some kind of respect and saying, "I want to play like that." Gilbert has said that it's because of that Steph Curry's game could be mimicked, that he's not a generational player. But I think that's a sign of flattery. Imitation is a sign of flattery. Literally, it's a cliche. Um, and we've seen so many people try the Steph Curry formula, but not everybody can do it. We've seen James Harden, we've seen Dame Lillard, we've seen Trae Young. These guys are elite shooters in their own respect, but none of these dudes are Steph Curry by any length of the imagination. What Steph does is something that only he can do. And he did definitely work his way into that. As a basketball player myself, it is not easy to hit the 3-point shot. Not easy to hit it consistently, and it's definitely not easy to hit it consistently. Oh, excuse me, y'all. Sorry. It's definitely not easy to hit the 3-point shot consistently while you're in the game. We've seen Steph Curry hit so many big threes, and I know a lot of people try to discredit him. Like, I got memories and memories on top of memories of Steph Curry hitting big threes and clutch times of the game, or even that. Now he's known for his threes, but that's not all Steph does. Steph is one of the best finishers in the league, probably one of the most, not probably by the numbers, he's one of the most accurate. Um, one of the most efficient mid-range shooters. And when he gets down into the layup lane, he's one of the best finishers. So Steph Curry does get a lot of recognition for his 3-point play, but he's a complete basketball player. He's led the leagues in steals. He's led the NBA in steals once for a guy that can only shoot threes. You don't get that kind of accolade, defensively. We've never seen Luka lead the league in threes. Excuse me, lead the league in steals. We've never seen James Harden lead the league in steals. Dame Lillard. So it's the matter of the fact that this is why I say Steph Curry seems to me to be a lightning rod figure. Because he's one of those guys that people try to omit facts to tear him down. And then when you do start to give Steph Curry his flowers and his credit, he automatically raises up on your resume, on your top, he automatically raises up on your all-time ranking list. It's impossible when you start giving Steph Curry all of his credit. Steph is in categories and got records that would never be broken, and he's in categories that he will only be by himself. One of the categories, and I think this is a stat he just completed this year. I believe this was his third, fourth, fifth, or sixth, one of the three. Excuse me, y'all. This is one of his third time, let's just say three for the sake of the video. This is his third time hitting 200 or 300 plus threes in a season. Nobody else is doing that, guys. Nobody else is doing that. Steph Curry, on many levels, has set himself apart and proven that he's a generational player. But that's why I get disgusted with guys like Gilbert Arenas, even my boy Tracy McGrady, man. That's one of my big homies, one of my favorite players of all time. But even him, he was kind of coming at Steph Curry a little bit. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm triggered or anything, but I just do not understand when the media or these guys in the NBA try and discredit Steph. What be the agenda? You know what I mean? What is the agenda truly? Because Steph has accomplished, let me say it like this, with 4 rings, championships, MVPs, finals MVP now, he has everything that LeBron James has done, he has done. And there's people that will come up with an argument that LeBron James is the quote-unquote GOAT. Fascinating. And the thing about LeBron is that he jumped around to get his resume as pristine as it is. Steph had to stay with not had to, but Steph just elected to stay with the Warriors during the downtimes, even during the 2021 season when Klay Thompson was out and the Warriors was like last place, didn't even make the finals. It was like last place in the NBA. Didn't even make the playoffs. Didn't even make the play-in, the participation playoff. To going to 2022, winning a championship in an improbable fashion against a very formidable Boston Celtics team. This dude, man, I don't get it. It's an agenda out there. Steph has everything that LeBron James has on his resume, and even some things LeBron James will never have on his resume. And it's the matter of the fact that when you compare, eras and players, this is Steph Curry's era, man. Head and shoulders. This has been Steph Curry's era for the last 10 years. He has the impact. He has the legacy, and he also has the championships to back that up. So, respectfully, Gilbert Arenas, you're an idiot, and this is why I do not watch that clickbait show any longer. It's your boy Tony the Savant. Please like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I'm dropping content on the channel. Thank you all so much for the love and support. Peace.